Always a good day when I get to answer some questions. Let's get into it. Hi, I'm Bryan from Airflow Music. Welcome back to another video. This is day 32 of our Go Practice Daily series. Hope you're having a great day today. Before we get into the exercises for today, there are a couple of, I guess what would now be called frequently asked questions, which are starting to pop up again. Things I've actually covered earlier in the series, but as people are finding these videos, which is lovely that people are finding these videos, as that's happening, things that I've covered early on that haven't been seen yet are popping back up as questions. So let's just recap a couple of quick things. First of all, it's been asked once or twice this week, both on comments and on emails, whether I consider this my warm-up. And the short answer to that is no. I don't consider these daily drills as part of my warm-up, even though they are something that I prefer to do fairly early in my playing day if I get the opportunity. I think it's better to get my response happening somewhat first rather than relying on this to get it going. I would much rather use these exercises to solidify the response once it's already in place. Okay, that's how I feel about that. But I am very much at the point of considering these part of my daily maintenance now. So that's where I'm coming from with this. I prefer to warm up first, and if you want more information on how I warm up, maybe I'll recap that again in another video. But I did make a video about that, I think it was last year, it may even have been 2 years ago now, which I'll link down below. So you can find that. There was a pair of videos I did in the Trumpet Quarantip series, I think, which was probably 2020. So I'll link those down below and probably up in the cards right here so you can find those and check it out. The other thing was about why we subdivide, and I'll come to that because we'll be getting in fact, let's get into it right now. Let's get into exercise 1 for today. We are playing set 5 at the moment in this video, and so if you don't have set 5 yet, you will find the link to download the free PDF in the description below this video. Okay, this is set 5, exercise 1. At this point we are doing the minor thirds, so this is just straight minor thirds, no bridging the gap, according to the expanding series. Okay, now I'm playing this as a long setting. This is very much a Caruso style exercise. It's not strictly a Caruso exercise, but I like to follow those principles when I'm dealing with this. And so that means I'm focused very much on trying to play accurately in time. So to do so, I'm playing with a metronome set to 60 beats a minute. I'm tapping my foot all the way through to put the tempo physically in my body somewhere, but I'm also mentally subdividing the beat into 16th notes or semiquavers. Okay, the reason I do that is to help me be accurate tapping my foot and really being in time, because it bridges the gap between those two clicks. If I'm at 60 beats a minute, the clicks are a whole second apart, and so if there's nothing in between, that's kind of a long distance, okay, to really be accurate on. So by subdividing, and rather than just hearing, I'm thinking bridging the gap there helps me be more accurately in time. Okay, that's the concept, that's the principle. So that's what we're doing. So the remainder of the rules are, we are breath starting the first note of each phrase, and on the rest bar I'm attempting to breathe in time. This is all about developing a timed response, which is super helpful when we're dealing with reading music and playing music with ensembles when things happen not on our schedule, as it were, because the band goes at its tempo. Okay? That's the idea. So with that, let's get into exercise 1. There's exercise 1 for today. Generally, once again, it went off fairly well, I think. I recorded these this morning and I'm filming these segments much later in the day. That's just how today has been. But I don't recall anything particularly untoward being up with these. Fairly well in the groove with them now, as I'm sure many of you are. And so it's partly about just trying to make that time and kind of lock into the meditative aspect of doing these a little bit. I'm finding it calming, I'm finding it reassuring to do them. And certainly when I was at rehearsal later, a couple of hours after I did them, my chops felt very reliable. So feeling good about that overall. Yes, nothing particularly untoward in exercise 1 that I can recall. However, as we get on to exercise 2, let's do that. Let's play exercise 2 and then I'll recap, spoiler alert, the struggles that I had with it. But exercise 2, right now we're going at 80 beats a minute. This is 3 bars of 16th notes or semiquavers, all on the minor thirds again. And this one is not a long setting exercise. So after the 3 bars of 16th notes, we play 1 bar of a whole note, and then there's 2 bars rest. And in that 2 bars rest, I'm taking the mouthpiece off my lips and resetting. The articulation pattern for this is first bar is slurred, second bar is tongued, third bar alternates between slurring and tonguing, 2 beats each. Okay? Don't think there's too much else to talk about there, so let's just get into exercise 2. That's exercise 2 for today. Okay, so this is starting to kind of reveal some stuff to me, and I'm really glad that I'm playing this at 80 beats a minute at the moment, because right now there are certain elements of this where I'm really at the edge of what I'm able to consistently be in control of in certain parts of playing this exercise at this tempo. There's a couple of fingering things, some of the nastier combinations or less familiar combinations, like the low B to low D, that kind of second valve to 1 and 3 motion, that's, you know, that has the potential at this tempo to trip my fingers up, so it's great practice for me. Likewise, some of the alternate fingering slurs, the things that look a bit more like flexibilities, some of those are tripping me up, and it's, you know, this is at the edge, once again, of where I can be in control of them. So I just need to keep doing them at this tempo, is the long and the short of it. And if I keep doing that, I will get them under control, and it's partly me being not feeling quite prepared for them always, and partly just still developing consistency. But, you know, nobody's perfect. Nobody bats 1,000, as the baseball players like to say. And, you know, we need to practice these things so that we can do them. And so this is why I'm particularly glad to be dealing with these at this tempo right now. It's good practice for me. How are you making out this tempo? I know some of you have reported that you're having a similar problem, particularly with some of those fingerings. How are the flexibility style slurs coming? How's the articulation feel at this speed as well? You know, 16th notes at 80 BPM is not especially fast. But if you don't practice a lot of single tonguing all the time, again, it can be on the edge. I'm feeling pretty good about that one in particular. It's more the fingers and the slurs for me. Anyway, I'm interested to hear how you're getting on. Aside from that, I think that's probably it for this one, so we don't get too long and I don't get too rambly. So I'll be back with another one tomorrow. If you have enjoyed this video, please do hit the like button. It makes a big difference. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I will leave it here for today. I will see you in the next video tomorrow. And until then, you know what to do. Go practice.